Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Rurouni Kenshin episode number 7 reaction. Alright, so the previous episode we got to meet a new character, a new villain in this situation, and he is going to be a tough opponent for Kenshin. Unlike the other characters that we had to fight before this guy is kind of like the real deal. His name is Kurogasa, and he's actually like a Hitokiri, and he has been killing, and he like finds like kind of enjoyment in killing, and he used to lure in people by giving them proper indication that he's going to do something, and then after the police and everyone came, he just killed them. He just loves doing that. So after getting a similar situation like that, Kenshin fights Kurogasa, and Kurogasa realizes that Kenshin is also the real deal, so his target is set on him. Later on, Kaoru gets kidnapped in front of Kenshin, and obviously he's going to lure Kenshin in out like this and probably want to fight him, and that's where this is going to go. So let's see what happens in this episode 7. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Right, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh boy, here we go. Yep, here we go. Okay. Inari at the town, okay. Yeah. Damn. Okay. Right, this will probably be like the one of the biggest fights, since up until now, I guess the strongest person he has fought is what's his name? Sagara. Sanosuke. So yeah, this will definitely be more difficult than that, and it's actually like a serious battle. So yeah. Hmm. The two Hitokiri, right? Yep, exactly. Oh boy. Yeah. No, not that. He did it to lure him in. Yeah. And that, yeah, he can fight him in his fight, true, in his true power. Damn. Well, yeah. Damn. Wait, is this him? Oh, he fought him before. Or probably not fought him, but saw him. Ah. Yeah, he's like, just look at his eyes. Oh! 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 Damn! And he was just there. Ooh. And that's why he let him go. As a messenger for them, yeah. Wait, did this actually make him become a. Oh no, I think that's what happened. Like, he saw him and he was like, oh, this is so cool, this is so good, and he became like this. Damn. Yeah, oh lord. After seeing him. Like, obviously, he was tapped from the beginning in the head, but what brought him. Like, made him like this, which became the trigger, was probably that. Okay. Okay, stop with that weird laugh. It's time. Yep, he's here. He's punctual, you know. Oh, he is. Yeah. Right. Oh, he. Yeah, he changed his. Okay. That's the thing. Is he going to do that? I don't think he's going to do that. I don't know. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at that. The way he just parried it. Yeah, he. Starts with. Okay. Oh, damn. He just changed his. Oh! Damn! Oh! Oh! Oh my god! Damn! Yeah, but he. High shadow. Like, changing his hands, like. Yeah. Oh god, he's going to. He's going to try to harm Kaoru now. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably like restraining her from breathing. Yeah. Yep, he's. Oh god. So he's like, yeah, you have to kill me before that. Oh god. Oh! Oh, yo, what the? He whacked him. If he used a sharp edge, his head would have just gone. Oh, obviously he cannot keep that going after getting hit in his head like that. Um, I doubt he became like that. He's even more ferocious. Whoa! Wait. Oh. Oh, is it like a? Oh. Oh, I see. So okay, it's like a. Who knows? Like Karu's also a warrior. What? Heightened sword or um. Oh, assumption, as he said. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, but here's the thing. Your version of strongest might not be the same as his version of strongest. Like, I'll talk about this later. Um. Okay, good job. Oh, he. Wait, he just sheathed his blade. Oh, he's going to. He's using his EI. Damn. Bato Jutsu, okay. So it races within the sheath. Oh, damn. Hmm. Um. Okay, we'll see. Oh, he's just gonna like. Really? You're sweating. Oh. Oh. But he's kind of holding it in a different way, I think. Or I don't know. Oh, he dodged it, but I don't know. Oh, he uses sheath. No, yeah. Oh god. Damn, his head is broken. So what do you say? Okay, so that's why he has the backup plan. Oh. Oh. Uh, I feel like Kaoru herself is going to break it off. Uh, yeah, but Kaoru's way of sword. Yeah, that is what. Yeah, she broke free. Like he said, like Jin said, that either she has to break free or he has to die. Yeah, since she can speak now, her windpipe is okay. It's okay. Yeah, talking like him. Yeah, he was using ore and like more. Can you please leave? Can you please leave? You know? Yeah. Oh, he's gonna kill himself. Oh god, here we go. I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna kill himself. Yep, there you go. I know, I saw that coming. Well, because he all he has is his swords after. Wait, what? Oh, oh, oh god, yeah. His peaceful life is just going to. They're all worked out. And then, what the hell is that? Oh, that's a snake. That's why they need Hitokiri. Yeah, that's why they need assassins or yeah. Hmm. Yep. Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say that he probably like killed himself as well because he cannot use his sword. Damn. He's probably like this is like a curse. Like he himself was not able to get out of it, so he's probably wanting the downfall of others who are in a similar situation like that. You know, like when you're unfortunate, you want others people to, that kind of thing. I don't know. Uh, yeah, and like you said, they are going to track back to Genshin because someone who's able to kill Jin must be someone who is of similar strength. So they are going to kind of track him down. Yeah, because she prevented him from going back to his. Yeah, yeah. Up. Yeah, he got. Yeah. Yeah, you're making a ruckus at the early morning. People are sleeping. Ah. All right, there you go. The first the first actual challenge that he had. You know what? I feel like this also wasn't an actual challenge for Kenshin because I feel like he was still holding back. Like there was certain situations where, for example, that part where he just used his kind of bloodlust to make him stop. That shows the extent of his strength. I feel like this probably he probably just used 30% of his power here, or maybe 40%. I don't know. I doubt this was his full thing. Like when he actually unleashed everything, he was overpowering him. So I feel like yeah, he's even though it seemed like he used his full power, he didn't. He still just showed a fraction of his whole thing. All right, that is it. So that was episode number 7 of Rurouni Kenshin, and yeah, we begin this episode with obviously we saw Kaoru get kidnapped, and then Kenshin reads a letter and he like tears it off and he's off to meet Jin. Or Jin, I think his name is Jin, isn't it? Or is it Jin? I just okay, whatever. I'm just going to call him Kurogasa. So he's off to meet Kurogasa. So over there, in the designated place, Kurogasa is just there smoking, and he's like, ah, the Kenshin that I fought, he isn't the real Kenshin. And obviously, Kaoru's like, what are you even talking about? Like she's like, you haven't really seen Kenshin's full power, and he's like, yeah, like actually you haven't seen, like I know what Kenshin is capable. That was nothing, like his whole I'm not going to kill anyone completely made him like like weak now. So that is why I captured you, and that's going to make him pissed off, so that I can fight his true self now. That is my main goal. And he's like, now that the situation he is in, I can just kill him before I finish smoking this one cigarette. So yeah, obviously Kaoru can kind of understand. At first she was like very confident, and then little by little she kind of like stops like talking, because she realizes what he's trying to mean. Because Kaoru also knows that he like Kenshin is a Hitokiri, and by what Kurogasa is saying, she kind of figured out that he's probably talking about back in the days when Kenshin was like a ferocious, like like a crazy, like person, like a killer, that type of like a Hitokiri. And Kaoru realized that, yeah, probably I still haven't seen, Kenshin in his entirety, and his past, which she still doesn't know properly. And we get a little bit of a flashback where Kurogasa was in when he was part of the Shinsengumi. Now here's the thing, I feel like what tipped the scales completely was him meeting Kenshin in the battlefield. We saw the scene, Kenshin was there, and there was like 4 or 5 men, and he was like at the farthest row. So Kenshin like kills off these 3 characters immediately, like one after the other, without even getting a scratch. And that, seeing him do stuff like that, and then obviously Kenshin was like, are you there? Just go, I'm going to let you leave. Go and tell the other people, don't try to mess with us. And that's why he kept him alive. And that is what, seeing a thing like that, I think it tipped the scales completely. And you remember, I think they kind of explained how at first he was at Shinsengumi, then he became the Hitokiri. This was one of the reasons which completely tipped the scales. And I'm pretty sure from the beginning, Kurogasa was kind of not okay, his mentality, and he was kind of tapped in the head. So this made him realize, and made him completely realize what he wants to do, that is just kill people, that kind of thing, I feel like. And there's also another thing he kind of tells in the end. I'm going to go to that part and read it. There's also another part that he talks about the whole curse of the Hitokiri. And he kind of says something, I'm going to go and read that part in the end. He kind of says something like, oh, if you once become like this, you won't be able to get out of it. It's like a curse. So, kind of like that, he says. And he kind of shows I don't know, he kind of in his words, it kind of seems like that he also wanted to get out of this curse, but he knew he couldn't, and he won't, because he himself enjoys this whole thing. It's like a complicated feeling, but he still wanted to get out of it. I get that feeling in the end, the way he was talking. And the fact that Kenshin is trying to get out of it, he didn't like it, because he himself is unable to do it. So, like I said, what's that word? Misery loves company. I think is that the correct word to use here? I don't know. Where you're kind of he's in a very unfortunate, I guess, situation, and he's not able to get out of this, and he doesn't want to get out of it, and he knows it's like a curse, and he's seeing someone else in the same situation, who was in the same situation as him, is able to do it. So now he's salty. He's like, oh, why him? That kind of thing, I feel like that last section when he was talking, that gave me that impression. I'm going to go to that part and read it in the end to better understand that. But that's the overall impression I got of him, of Kurogasa. Yeah, he was kind of like that. He was mentally completely gone, far gone. And he himself knew about it. But at the same time, he also knew that this was a curse. And seeing himself not able to get out of it, but Kenshin is trying to get out of it, he sees that and he's like, oh no, nah, I cannot let that happen. That kind of thing, I don't know. I'm going to go to that next part and see. But for now, let's go step by step. So after that, we get to see... we get to see that after that flashback, Kurogasa is like, oh, time, it's 12 o'clock. And he's like, let's do it, he's here. And throws off the cigarette. And Kenshin comes in, and his face is really not okay. He's not happy about this whole situation. And, Kurokasa's like, all right, like you're here. And he's like, yeah, your face has kind of gone back to the Hitokiri. And you can see that he changed his way of speaking as well. He's like saying ore, and instead of like his whole de gozaru that he like does in the end. And Kaoru kind of catches that. And yeah, so he takes out his sword, and Kurogasa is like, you better flip your sword. That Sakamoto won't do anything, you know. And yeah, so they start their battle, and this battle was amazing. I have to say, I love the way they animated they actually like showed all the like proper like the scene of him swinging his sword. There's like two ways like studios animate. One is like they kind of like show a certain, like in these type of fighting scene, they show someone like for example, so kind of like striking like this, and they kind of cut it off to another scene where the opponent is also kind of doing the same, and then they cut off the other scene back again where the main character is also kind of swinging in a different way. Like they keep jumping like this one after the other, which I feel like it's easier to animate because you're not really animating the whole thing. You're kind of taking out bits and kind of adding it, and it's more like still images you're kind of putting one after the other. You kind of notice that in like certain like animation studios kind of do that in certain battle scenes. Like they show one scene, then they cut off to the opponent, and then they cut off to the again back to the other guy, kind of making like a pseudo animation where it seems like they're fighting, but they're literally showing us still screens, one after the other. So that's one way they do it. This, however, you can see they don't do that, and I'm really glad that they actually kind of showed the whole like process of like like kind of him swinging the sword. Obviously this takes way more effort and way more time, budget to animate it like this, but it looks so much more better. Instead of those still screens, they kind of pop up one after the other, making it seem as if it's a battle, but they're just showing us still screens. You'll see, in a few animes you'll probably see, if you haven't noticed it up until now, try to notice it. You'll see they kind of do that now and then, obviously for budget reasons, for time reasons as well, I'm guessing. But here I'm glad to see that we actually see Kenshin swing his sword. There were certain situations where we see him kind of like parrying and then kind of like dodging and then going off from the other direction. Like they actually show the whole process. They actually animate the whole thing, which I kind of like. I think hopefully the battles from here onwards will be like this or will be better than this, and that'll be really good, because this is like a show about, I guess you could say, like obviously about Kenshin. He's a samurai, and so I'm sure we'll get a lot more, a lot of battles from here onwards as well. So like the battles, since they're animated like this, that'll be really nice. Or even if it's even better than this, that's even that'll be even more amazing. Like this whole scene, you can see like Kenshin actually swinging his sword, and like there was like one scene you see Kurogasa kind of doing this, and Kenshin kind of dodges and kind of goes behind him and tries to attack him, and then Kurogasa kind of turns and parries it again. And then there was again Kurogasa like uses the sword here, he dodges like this, and he uses his sword to kind of bring it down. And yeah, that was amazing. I loved this whole like the way they animated this part. It was good. I really liked it. Okay, so here we can see Kenshin starts to analyze him, how he does his stuff, and that part was really crazy. Like where he analyzes him and kind of parries him, but Kurogasa kind of like his sword like just leaves it like this and gets it with the other hand and uses his other hand to attack. Kind of uses a feint like that. And obviously he didn't see that. He was fully like he was going to strike. Kenshin was going to strike like this. So he was like, his guards were down. So he didn't see that coming, and yeah, he gets stabbed in the chest. So yeah, and after that, he's like, alright, you know what? This isn't doing it. You're still not the Hitokiri that I want to fight. And he's like, let me just increase the difficulty. And he starts using his Shin no Ippo, I think that's what he called it, on Kaoru, and he's able to paralyze her lungs. She cannot breathe. So obviously he's like, yeah, the only way you can take this out is kill me, or if Kaoru herself breaks out of it. As soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, in the end, I'm pretty sure it's going to go in that direction. Kenshin will probably try to kill him, but Kaoru is going to break out of it before that, not letting Kenshin become a Hitokiri again. And yeah, that's exactly what happens later on. But either way, as soon as he says that, this part was crazy. He was like, oh, you have to use your actual Hitokiri, like persona now. And as soon as he stops talking, Kenshin just disappears and just whacks him in the face. Now, like I said, if he used his, like the sharp edge, his head would have gone clean out like this. Upper part of his head would have been gone. Immediate death. But yeah, he whacked him with the other side, I'm guessing. And so all that happened is his nose broke and he like started bleeding. And he's like, this is what I wanted. And Kenshin is like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, I'm just going to kill you. Like, that's way more easy. And yeah, you can see here Kenshin use his, bloodlust against him, kind of temporarily paralyzing him. He uses Shin no Ippo, but he just breaks it off and he's like, it won't work, I told you. Okay, so here he kind of says that, alright, I have one trick up my sleeve. Where's that part? Just a minute. Alright, he says humans are creatures that are surprisingly weak against assumptions. Right. Shin no Ippo takes advantage of that weakness and uses a heightened sword aura to cover and paralyze the enemy. Assumptions do indeed influence the human body. And I as a caster is no exception. So there you go. Like, for the opponent he used to make them weak. However, for himself he kind of made self-hypnosis into thinking that he's strong. That is the true essence of Shin no Ippo. It doesn't only work on the enemy, it works on himself as well, and he can kind of tweak it to make it better for him and make him stronger. And that's what he does. He kind of puts a strong hypnosis on himself to unleash all his potential. And yeah, he's like, I'm invincible, let's go. Excuse me. And he says, this is the first time I'm using this after I left the Shinsengumi. And then Hitokiri uses his, takes his stance and he's like, he calls this Bato Jutsu, yeah. And he's like, yeah, there you go. So Kurogasa is like, alright, that is the stance of Bato Jutsu. So, okay, so what happens is that it's a technique where the blade of sword races within the sheath, and the sword speed doubles, triples when it's drawn out. So it's kind of like Yaijutsu, I'm guessing, where you kind of sheath your sword and just take it out like this and just bring it in, that whole thing. So it's kind of like that. So he analyzes and he's like, okay, Bato's a user of the divine speed sword style Hiten Mitsurugi Ryu. And he says that it's a double-edged attack because if you're not able to hit it, in no way can you your guard will all be down immediately at that exact moment. So you can get countered immediately. So it's like that's why he said it's a double-edged sword. And he's using a Sakabato, which is a little bit convex. So, bringing it out won't be bringing out the same speed as a normal sword. And he's going to use that little, less amount of speed that he's using. He's going to use that opportunity to dodge and attack him. That is how he analyzes it. So he goes off, Kenshin also does his thing. And he's actually right in his assumption. He is able to dodge it. If it was like a normal sword, he probably wouldn't be able to. But like he said, since it's a Sakabato, it has a convex, blade, he's able to dodge it. He dodges it and he's like, oh, it's over. And he didn't expect him to kind of counter immediately. So he tries to attack, lowering his guard down, which Kenshin takes advantage of and uses his sheath to hit his hand. And so there you go, he tried to use the little amount of time to counter Kenshin, but Kenshin used him attacking to counter him. That whole thing. And yeah, bam, immediately his hand is just gone, broken, his tendons and everything, as Kenshin says later, is broken and he won't be able to be a swordsman, or at least use that hand. So yeah, it's a double Bato just using both sword and sheath. And he says it's like a sword you send. I'm fully aware that Bato Jutsu are double-edged swords, and that a Sakabato is unfit for a Bato Jutsu. The man who has mastered the most powerful Bato Jutsu. Yeah. That is the origin of my street name, Battosai. Ah, that is why they call him Hitokiri Battosai. I see. Ah, there you go. That makes sense. Okay. All right. So this is like his signature move, I'm guessing, right? So he's like, oh, your like life as a swordsman is over, and he's like, oh yeah, then you have to kill me, because otherwise her Kauru's like whole situation won't be better. And Kenshin's like, yeah, I'm exactly going to do that. I will become a Hitokiri just for now, so that I can save Kaoru. And as he was going to like deal his final sword strike, Kaoru obviously remembers what Kenshin said before, that he said how he even okay, wait a minute, let me just read it. No matter how you sugarcoat it or have lofty ideals, a sword is a kill, as a thing to kill. That is the truth. Yeah. But in face of such an awful truth, I'd much prefer Miss Kaoru's naive lies. So that is, what he said. And he knows the cruel reality, but Kaoru's way of sword is, as he said, giving life. And he knows that it's like naivety, but he wants to believe in that naivety and wants to make that actual truth. And and he Kaoru remembers that, and Kaoru seeing this in front of her happening, and she also doesn't want Kenshin to go back to that, because Kenshin, she saw Kenshin actually say that from the bottom of his heart. So just because of this situation, if Kenshin goes back to the Hitokiri, Kaoru doesn't want that. So Kaoru, in the end, kind of herself breaks out. Like I said, I kind of expected this to happen. As soon as he said that only killing him or Kaoru herself can break it, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to go in that direction. And yeah, that's what happens. In the end, Kaoru is able to break free of that, Shin no Ippo. And yeah, in the end, she's like, it's okay, Kenshin, you don't have to go back to, your Hitokiri days, and your speech pattern is also back to normal. So yeah, now after that you see what's his name, Kurogasa comes in behind him, and Kenshin's like, stop it, Kurogasa, you won't be able to lift your blade from here onwards, at least with one hand. So yeah, there's no, you cannot do anything to me now. So he's like, yeah, I know, but I can do one thing. And I was like, yeah, he's probably going to kill himself. Now, the reason why I thought he was going to kill himself is because I thought that since he enjoys fighting so much, he cannot use one of his hands, so obviously his skill level will go extremely down. So that is why he probably would kill himself, because he doesn't want a life where he cannot fight. That's what was my guess was. That was partially correct in the end, as we see, because yeah, he does say that is also another reason. But another reason why he did it is because he wants the officials to kind of track this and go to Kenshin and kind of get it. Now this is the reason why I said that he's basically salty that he cannot get out of this whole situation, but Kenshin is trying to. This is exactly the reason why. Just imagine, he using his life in the end, he makes the situation in such a way so that Kenshin gets into trouble and is not able to go back to his peaceful life. He has to become a Hitoki. So why did he do that? Even by using his life. That is exactly why. He's not happy about the fact that this is like a curse. It's very difficult to get out of it, and he knows that he himself cannot. So seeing someone else trying to do it or almost being successful in doing it, he doesn't like it. And that is why in the end, even with his last breath, he made it so that Kenshin cannot live his peaceful life. Just because of that. And that's exactly why I said that he's just, I don't know, it's envy probably. That, oh, this thing, I'm not able to get out of it, and I don't want to get out of it, but Kenshin can. It's a bit of a complicated feeling, it's not that he cannot get out of it. He can get out of it, but he doesn't want to. And he knows that this whole thing is a curse, and he knows that him not wanting to get out of it is also part of the problem. Like, what about Kenshin? Kenshin is also in the same curse of like killing people and the whole thing. How is he able to get out of it, or at least trying to attempt to get out of it? Because he himself wants to. However, his situation is way more complicated. He knows this is like a curse, but he doesn't want to get out of it. It's like a drug for him. He knows that he can stop if he wants to, but he doesn't want to, and not being able to get out of it is causing him internal struggle and pain. That kind of thing. And seeing someone else being able to do it while he's not able to, it probably made him not happy about it. And he was, I guess you could say, probably envious of this whole thing. And that's why in the end we see him, even after taking his life, he tries to make Kenshin's situation troublesome. He doesn't want him to go back to his peaceful life. Because of that. That is my take on this whole situation. I might be wrong, but that's how I saw it. He's just envious of Kenshin. Like, he knows that Kenshin wants to get out of it, but he himself doesn't want to. It's like I said, it's like an addiction. It's like a drug. He doesn't want to get out of it, but he knows this is not okay, or this isn't, he wants to get out of it, but he cannot. Like, that kind of thing. I don't know. Like, that's why I say it's a complicated situation. Otherwise, why would he taking his life, his main reason for doing this, as he says in the end, is to just make Kenshin's situation more difficult and to make him revert back to his Hitokiri persona. Why would he do that? Okay, you look like you don't get it. Okay, let me read it. I told you. This is the aftermath. Here we go. If I get caught and the investigation goes on, they're sure to track back to the imperialist government official that requested a Hitokiri. Yep. Okay, yeah, they're going to go back. Okay, you thought that being a Hitokiri was no longer needed in the Meiji era. That's why I said you lost your touch. Now here's a few interesting things that he says, which is why I said my previous, my assumption. Okay, they're all worked out about revolution, Meiji era, and new government. But on the inside, a power struggle similar to the Bakumatsu era still continues. They want to get rid of that strand in the way. With modernization of the system and the police force developing, they cannot simply slay men like before. On the other hand, I can easily escape the bloody path I entered. There you go, this line. I cannot escape the bloody path that I entered, nor do I want to leave it. Here we go, nor do I want to leave it. So the politician and the Hitokiri had common interests, and the evil-bladed hooligan Kurogasa was born. So here we also kind of see that he says that this is the reason why he became Kurogasa. Because after the whole Meiji restoration, after killing so many people, he wasn't able to get out of it. So he became like this. It's crazy to think that Kenshin probably would have been like this as well. But he's trying to actually get out of it. Like I say, it's like a drug, it's like an addiction. Up until now, all the people who have been fighting in this whole war, and people who are like the Hitokiris, like him or Kenshin, they were addicted, in an addiction. And after the whole thing went, it was over and everything was in peace, their whole thing, their what's that word? Their skills were no more needed, So people like Kenshin tries to get out of that addiction. Unlike Kurogasa, who wasn't able to. Kenshin was able to take the step to get out of that addiction. Kurogasa wasn't able to, and he still kept doing it, and that is why he became, as he said, the evil-blooded hooligan Kurogasa was born. Because up until before, when he was in the Shinsengumi, he could just kill people. Not people, but the opponents. But now that it's in peace, he doesn't know what to do, so he became like this. And since his and the other officials there goals collided, not collided, but kind of was in the same place, he became like an assassin for hire. A Hitokiri slays a man on his own will. However, he doesn't choose his own target. I ignored that and challenged you. Yeah. And that's why I have met such a pathetic death. But oh well. Now that my arm is busted, staying alive only brings boredom. Stop looking at me like that, Batosai. When your eyes looked so much better when you said you would kill me. Here we go. Your true nature is still of that of a Hitokiri. A fellow Hitokiri is telling you so you can be sure of it. A Hitokiri is only that until he dies. Here we go. He cannot become anything else. This word again makes me feel like like I said, it's an addiction. He knows it's bad, but he cannot get out of it. You know, and seeing someone else being able to do it probably made him a little bit envious of the situation, and he wanted to drag him down with him. I'll be watching from the edges of hell on how you can still spout off on being a Rurouni. Yeah, there you go. So that's basically it. It's envy, I guess, kind of, at a certain degree. Yeah. And that's it. He died. Yeah, and Kenshin kind of repeats that in his head, and then he goes back with Kaoru, and Kaoru's like, I'm like, like, thank you for saving me, Kenshin. And he's like, oh no, like, I'm thanking you for saving me, because if you didn't, like, break out of it, I probably would have become a Hitokiri again. So yeah. And then he's like, oh yeah, here you go, your the thing that you gave me, the ribbon or whatever, it's filled with blood. Kenshin's like, oh, when I got stabbed, it probably. And Kaoru's like, what the hell is this? You're not going to get away with it. And, start chasing him. And then after that, Kenshin kind of says, even if my true nature is that of a Hitokiri, I will hold it back for the rest of my life. I will never ever return to being a Hitokiri Batosai. And yeah, in the end he says, like, you keep watching me from the edge of hell. Until I die, I am a Rurouni who refuses to kill. And we see them coming back, to the dojo. And Yahiko and Sanosuke are there. Yeah, so there you go. That was this episode. So like I said, this is my take on the episode, that Kurogasa was just, it's like an addiction, like the whole Hitokiri thing. Every Hitokiri or everyone in that situation is not able to get out of this whole curse, and Kenshin should have been the same. So Kurogasa, seeing this whole situation, that how Kenshin's trying to get out of it, he tried to drag him down to the same thing, because I guess, like, they were in the same situation. So seeing Kenshin able to at least try or attempt to get out of it probably made Kurogasa, it's like a complicated feeling, like an addiction. He sees that he wants to keep fighting like this, but seeing Kenshin like this, he wants to drag him down along with him, that kind of thing. And that's part of the reason, obviously. Another big part of the reason is, obviously, I'm pretty sure he just wanted to fight him. That's it. So, like, there's like layers to this whole thing, I guess. Like, the biggest reason is obviously he wanted to fight him as an actual Hitokiri, but there is an underlying reason behind it as well, I guess, because he just wanted to drag him down. Seeing how he's able to, or at least attempting to get out of it, he didn't like it. That kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah, so there you go. So that is it. That is my reaction to episode 7 of Rurouni Kenshin. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And yeah, that is it, guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week with another episode. Okay, that was weird. With another episode of Rurouni Kenshin. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.